Hey everybody, and welcome back. I'm back on this old crusty heap today. Got a lot of fab work to do on this side. I mentioned before we got this frame horn. We're gonna have to cut some of the rest of that off of there before we make that. We also need to do this piece right here, which we did on the other side already. So I've got to get some bracing kind of welded up here and here so we can cut that chunk out. And then we're not going to worry about this. Again, I've mentioned that before. This will be the last thing pretty much that I do as far as the bus being on the rotisserie. And I have a reason for that, and you'll see later on. Last time we took off the horn, we got the brake master cylinder off so that we have kind of everything off of this piece here that we need to make. And so we'll be cutting that out as well. So let me go get the welder, bring it out here, and we'll get some pieces made, some bracing to go in here. Again, I probably won't show you each step because we're kind of just following along what we did down there. We have to cut it away from this channel piece that was welded in. This is not a factory piece. Somebody just had some U-channel and thought it would be strong enough to hold it up, so they welded that in. And along with all this other garbage that's up here that we'll have to cut out. So with that being said, let me go get some pieces pulled out here and we'll get started on this thing today. So I've shown this kind of thing before on some of the other videos that I've done. And just following the same procedure. Got my braces held in by magnets for now. Just going to go through and tack those in. And I actually need to put my welding gloves on instead of these gloves. It's a balmy winter day. That's the best time of the year to be out doing this, I guess. Certainly won't get hot. I have to move you back for a second. Pardon me, excuse me, pardon me. And now, I'm going to be right in your way. Alright, bracing is in. So now we need to switch to plasma cutter. I'll try to get you in here where you can maybe see what's going on, but yet I don't fry the camera too. That work? Yeah, let's see what that does. Get that hammer out of the way. Alright. I think I'll start here. Kind of peel my way back. Go get a pry tool real quick. You probably can't hear that over the sound of the plasma cutter, but there's a fire. I got a fire underneath, and sand is falling out of the frame as I cut. So I think I've got most of this bottom cut loose. I may have to go get a chisel though. I'm using a thin screwdriver, but there's a reason why. The tip is all broke off of it. So I don't really care if it breaks. Probably got used as a pry bar one too many times. Let me go get a chisel. Keep an eye on that fire, would you? I got something a little better than a chisel, or better than the screwdriver I was using. The screwdriver works really well because it's thin enough you can get it in there. But then kind of once you get it going, that side to peel up. I know you're all saying, why don't you just cut the whole thing out? Well, because I want to see what's under it. And it's easier to do it when it's on the bus. Guess I still need to work a little bit down below here. Probably hanging up right here. There we go. Because it's archaeology. Finding treasure. Very gold. Plus, I'm cold. And fighting this makes me warm up a little bit. You know? So this whole piece is one piece, and they've split it and then lapped it over and welded it on itself. So this piece right here, I don't think is welded to the bus. I think we're just welded around the border and right in the holes of it too. So what do you think our chances we can get it off in one piece? I think it's pretty high. Alright, that piece is pretty much free, so I'll go ahead and finish cutting that out the rest of the way. See what kind of damage we can do. Or what kind of damage was already done. I'll keep at it. Watch your eyes. Going in. I'm trying to cut at an angle, so if there's anything salvageable in the frame, maybe I'm not cutting it to bits. Okay, now you gotta go on the other side of me. Going for a ride. That okay there? Okay, slap your helmet back down. You can kind of tell when it gets under there because the sound of the plasma cutter changes sounds. You can tell when you're between the two pieces. Hopefully you can see all that crud falling out of there. Okay, we didn't get all the way through those two. Get the big chisel in. Almost. You know, believe it or not, this piece up here, I might be able to save. How many y'all are screaming, just cut it out of there? Everybody? Big reveal. Wow. We think we can save that. I got into it pretty good with the screwdriver. I don't know, guys. We may be able to save that chunk right there. Oh, right there. Is that a factory hole? Nah, it's pretty punky all the way up. Oh, that sucks. Yeah. Well, that's got to go. And it probably has to go further than the other one did. I'll take a hammer along it. Oops, sorry. If we can save any of it, we will. But you can see right in here. Put my glove behind there, it might make it easier. Nope. How about I take you off the stand? That'll make it easier. Right in there is pretty much done. So it's probably going to be cut back to about the same spot where that one was. But we got it out. There's what's down inside. That's probably what was causing our fire, those little maple tree whirligig things. So that's what they repaired. Or tried to repair. You can see how this whole section's like shoved up. So when I cut that out, I may have to remove this piece and drop that whole thing down. When I checked the bus, before I did anything, I checked the bus for its, for lack of a better phrase, levelability or levelness. And front to back, this direction, it was pretty good. And then these two rails side to side were pretty good at every point where I checked in the bus. This was the worst spot. So I'm not sure. It looks to me like this whole thing caves in. I don't know if you can see that. Kind of hard to show on film. You can see how that kind of caves in there. It gets pretty straight, about right where my finger is, the rest of the way out. So I think if we just cut on the other side of that, probably be okay. What a mess. What an absolute mess. Oh, man. Well, I say we make a mark and get her cut. I don't know how far I want to keep. I say let's just go do away with this area here, since that's kind of starting to pull up right there. And we'll just cut it just past where I've got my brace. Ay, ay, ay. All right, let's get it out of there. So I flipped on the other side to take a peek, and it looks like I came to just past this rib. So just past this rib right here, where I put my patch in. And that looks like it's about where it's going to be for this side. But I left some of the upper part to maintain the structure on that other one. And Like I said before, to right here is good. This up here, not so much. And I cut on the other side to this factory hole that's drilled in the frame. So we'll just cut past that. And then I've gone along with the hammer and whacked pretty good on everything here. And you can see I could just go straight through right there. So all of that has to get cut out. We can't save any of that. You know, it is what it is. Whoa, sorry, almost dropped you there. It's just a rusty old bus, and it's a very rusty old bus. Probably if I just kept hitting it enough, we could just break it apart that way. So I'm gonna cut to right here where this factory drill hole is. We'll cut from there, and I'll probably do something similar to what I did before, where I cut and just kind of left that right there so we know where to go. At least that's the plan anyway. Just keep it very similar to the other side, that way everything kind of the same again. Well, there's what we had. Now you see it. Now you don't. Well, it is a couple days later, and we got some of the white stuff. Just a little bit, a little dusting today. It's actively snowing off and on all day. But I'm gonna be out here just kind of cleaning up this chunk we cut out and get that cleaned up and ready to receive the piece we're gonna stick in there. And probably go ahead and try and get that made today. So, kind of a mess. Where the other piece was welded to it, I'm gonna have some cleanup to do, and then up here I'm gonna have some repairing to do. I try to aim the plasma cutter so that it kind of goes up and under and peels this way instead of cutting down. But that piece that was on there, you saw that, is just kind of hard to get off of there. So I'll go clean that up. We'll make those repairs. I got a repair right here to make too, and just straighten all the edges up so that we can put the new piece in, and it'll be a little easier to make that pattern. Yeah. Okay, crisis averted. There's a little piece of that back metal still hanging a little bit proud of what I need it to be. And rather than spend all that time grinding it and killing a grinding disc, I'm just going to take a plasma cutter, zip that off. Better move that out of the way. The way my luck goes, I cut the cord of it off or something. Now I can go in and kind of clean that up a little bit. Save us a little bit of killing a grinding disc. It looks pretty good. It's pretty similar to the old piece. Or the other piece that I already made. Cool. Somebody said in one of the other videos, I think the plasma cutter is now your favorite tool. I think you're right. Who knew I needed one of those until I had one? I got it on Amazon. I ordered the cheapest one I could find. Sorry, I keep walking in front of the camera. And they don't make that one anymore, of course. So when I went to buy Dad one, I'd buy him a slightly different version, but go and find a cut 50. That's the cheapest one you can find that will do 220 and 110. Works great. I think we're ready to make a piece for that. You over here. Looks pretty good. You know, this back stuff won't matter because I'm gonna be redoing that. And I just pushed the other half. Whoop, you can't see what I'm talking about. Just push the other half with the bracket. I can't point with my glove on. That had that bracket on the side, so I want to make sure I keep that piece. So I just kind of shoved it down and under out of our way. So I think we're ready to get that piece made up. I'm not going to fill these until I got the welder out here. And then the little boogers that are from that old weld, I'm going to have to wait until I take my brace out to grind those off. I can't get in there. But let's get a pattern made up for that. The snow coming in. It's a blustery day for sure. I thought when I visually looked at this, the piece looked a little bit longer than the piece I had made for the other side. And visually looking, there is a factory drilled hole here, and it is lined up exactly where it is on the other side. However, I had to cut a little further this way because it was all rotted out. And this is the piece from the other side. So we are cut out about 1 inch more on this side. So we won't be able to use this pattern. We're going to make our own. But that is why I keep all of this garbage metal that I cut out, because we kind of need to know where that bend was so we can line those up both on both sides. So I just used magnets and put it back in. That's what we'll use to make our pattern. Kind of hard to tell that that's even a bend, but that's why I keep all that stuff. I don't throw any of that out until I'm completely done with the project. In fact, it's sitting over in a pile, all the metal out of the bus. So we'll get that made up so we can make this piece. So this is kind of how I do pattern making. You can see I got a little bobble on it there, but I know which line I'm looking at. I put the pieces in with magnets, the pieces that actually came out of here, and then I pull those away after I've put kind of a border piece around so that we can make our pattern. And because it has this curve in it, I want that curve to line up where it should be. So I have a little tick mark down here where I can see. And when I pull on it where the curve is supposed to be, it's going to suck this piece up, which is what I want it to do. I don't know if you can see that or not. But then that allows me to keep this line correct for when I go to make that pattern. So that's kind of how I do pattern making. I don't know that that's right or not, but we'll go cut this out and we'll come back in, or we'll cut this out and make sure that it fits up in here correctly, and then we'll trace it to a piece of metal. Keep in mind, each time you trace it onto something, if you're using a Sharpie marker or something like that, you know, it's adding just a little bit, 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch, whatever, however you want to measure it or what kind of marker you're using. So keep in mind when you go to put that in up here, it may not fit exactly right, which in my case, I always cut to the outside of the line because I want it to be just a little bit too big. So I have some fudge room. If it's too short, you know, it's one of those cut it off twice and it's still too short kind of things. So then you got to remake the piece. So I don't like remaking pieces because that makes me mad at myself. It's not that I don't enjoy the metal work, but let me go in and cut this pattern out, warm my fingers up, and then we'll come back out and make sure that it fits. But I think we've got a pretty good fit here. We know that this width, I'm using the 4-inch tube, so we know that's going to be right. That's what I'm kind of going off of. Hands aren't cooperating. Cold. That looks pretty good to me. I know it's going to be just a little bit on the big side because I cut to the outside of my trace line, but there's our pattern for that one. Here's our pattern for the old one, or I keep saying old, I mean the other one, the first one I did. And this is tapered. I just used a piece of paper that I had. So a real similar shape. Again, this back part is tapered. I didn't worry about making it straight because I knew I was going for inches, so it looks like they're lining up. I'm looking right here is where I'm looking. They look pretty close. Angle looks pretty similar. I think we're good. This one just was more rotted than the other side. So I'll go get this traced onto a section of metal and we'll get that cut up. So I just checked the weather on my phone on the weather app, and I won't be able to show you that screen because I'm using the phone to do the filming today, but it says it's 22 degrees out here, and with the wind it says it feels like 16. So I don't know what your excuse is, but clearly I do not have one because I'm crazy. I mean, who does this, right? I think that is probably about as good as we're gonna get. How do we look? Looks good to me. Welder up, Buttercup. Well, I've got that about lined up about where I want it to be. And I think we're pretty good. It's just balanced there, so it's not exactly positioned. You can see it's out of alignment there, but I think that'll do just fine. If you look at them, if I can get them to line up there, the bends are pretty close to the same. So I think we're gonna call that piece a win. And I take the welder out here and go in and fix all the stuff I messed up with the plasma cutter, but other than that, it's pretty well ready to weld in the bus, which is a good thing because our snow is kind of picking up a little bit. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it's kind of turning to some sleet or ice or something. Big old balls of snow coming down. A lot warmer out today though. I think it's like 26. No wind. Makes a big difference. I will say this one was easier to cut because I'd kind of learned what to cut first, what to cut second. It went a lot quicker than that other one. And this one was actually a little bit bigger. Done. He stopped some pattern making and welding to come out and play in the snow. And the snow's pretty much stopped, but that sky up there looks like it could continue on any second. But we've got this one. And that one back there with the umbrella is a melted snowman. And then we've got this guy. I think you know which one I made. And then the cutest one of all is up here. I think he's got the best face. Looks like a little character, doesn't he? Yeah. Gotta have a little fun every once in a while, right? That sky, though. What do you say we get that piece welded in? It's a little bit heavier than the other piece just because it's just about an inch longer. It's got a little bit more weight on it, so it wants to kind of pull those magnets down. So I'm probably going to have to tack it on a couple places and then kind of hold it, force it up on the other side. I want it lined up right here the best I can because that's the spot that's real obvious to line up. That should be pretty close to where we need it to be. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Get her in. You know what? I'm gonna move you over here because I'm gonna be in your way the whole time. Going for a little ride. I do try to keep the camera out of harm's way. I don't want any busted lenses or anything like that. I'm one of those welders, I have to have kind of like the right line of vision, and this little block right there, I really can't get in there the way I want to because this little blob up here keeps hitting my helmet. So I'm going to take a plasma cutter and we're going to take care of that. It has to come out eventually anyway. So we'll just take care of it now. Think this is attached to anything at all. Maybe that piece there. Wondering if I shouldn't just take that whole, split it. I think I can split it right here and right here. I might want to leave this piece. I'll just cut it as close to here as I can. Catch my sweater on fire. That is not attached. Bring my sledge out here. sledgehammer. Sledgehammer. That ought to be a little easier now to get in there. I repaired my spots up here I blew through, so I'm going to go ahead and repair these down here. Like there's a little bit of a high spot in the frame right there though. Take care of that. Got it. Still hitting. I'm going to leave that little spot there. When I take this off, the brace off, I'll be able to pull that out flush. And then there's a spot up here that I don't know if I can get from down there. So let me climb up. We can get that from up here. I like working in coveralls because I stay warm. Sure does make it hard to move around. Got a little spot back in here I'm going to get, but I need a flashlight. So I'll fix that and then bring you back. We'll take a look at it. See what we see. Woohoo! Too much junk around here. There's never too much junk. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that when we get the floor out. Get to it. Woohoo! Done and done. Awesome. Yeah, I think that'll do just fine. I need to clean up right around here, but I'll do that after I've taken that break. brace out. Welded up my spots up there that I'd blown through. Started kind of fixing and repairing those over here, but I can't grind really well in there until this brace is moved. So that is that piece for now. So how's she look if we look down? Looks pretty good. Can't really get the camera where you can see the same angle I can see, but she looks pretty good. Comes in, kicks back out exactly like it's supposed to do. Yeah, I think I can live with that. Well, I think I'm gonna call that a win. It's been a couple chilly days out here working on old Pickle the Bus. It's been a blast, an Arctic blast, but a blast nonetheless. We got this piece made, which is exactly what I set out to do. If you want to check out how I made it, you can click on this link that shows up somewhere in here and go check it out how we made it on the other side. With that, I'm gonna sign off. See you next time. What is your contraption called?
The umbrella car.
The umbrella car. Ooh, I like it. Is that your very own invention?
Yeah.
Wow.
Go.
The umbrella car. Watch the bus. Don't have a whole lot of room to ride in the umbrella car in here, do you? It's pretty awesome, buddy.
You want to take it for a ride?
I would totally drive that car, like for real.
Yeah, okay.